Hey Mui, I wanted to go over this video from our practice last Sunday, just to give you some quick tips on where you need to work on. Okay, so I'm going to let this play a little bit so you can kind of just take a look initially. Let me zoom in a little. Okay, and then I'll give you some comments in a second. Okay, so let's go on back a bit. We can actually start anywhere. So let's start in the back of when you finish your stroke. Okay, so you kind of have I would say a little bit longer of a pause in the back, partially because of what's going on in the front of your stroke. So you can see, right, as we advance. Okay, let me zoom in here so we can look closer. So if I look at like Fred's paddle versus your paddle, right? Your exit, or when you start your return, right here, almost kind of matches up with him. Okay, so right here is all good. The way you're exiting is very good too. So I like that you're keeping this wrist relaxed, your arm is relaxed. You get into kind of this two position well. This is all pretty good. Now when you swing back into your setup here, okay, so when you swing back into your setup, a couple notes. So going from here into this position right here, okay, you want to keep thinking, okay, I'm going to keep trying to extend my lower hand forward. Keep thinking forward a little bit longer, because what's happening is you get right into this setup, and instead of going in for that toast, right? So you can see Fred is kind of going in for that toast, going for that further extension. His lean goes a little bit further. Your twist is decent. I think you can twist a little bit more like Fred is. Right, you can see how much back is showing to the camera. Yours could just be a little bit more. So a little bit more twist and lean as you go into that catch. And then when you finish the setup and going into that toast, so even if right here, let's say you get to right here, because I would say paddle angle wise, let me use a different color real quick. Paddle angle, right? This is pretty consistent with Fred's. This is not too bad, actually, if you wanted to start here. But, okay, I want you to kind of take a look at what your lower hand does compared to Fred. I want more so, right? This lower hand needs to go down this way and then pull back along this line, okay? And you're gonna see right now, okay, your hand does something a little bit more like this, right? So I think the diagram I drew is a little bit exaggerated. I think if you look at, let's look at Fred's hand right here. Okay, he does go forward a little bit more, but it does start tracing back. Let me do a better diagram. Okay, so let's reset this back to here. Okay, so hands start here. All right, so let's just go ahead and trace so you can kind of look. So from here to here, right? So what Fred's hand has done is he's extended a little bit versus yours has already started coming down this way, right? And let's advance the video again. Okay, so from here to here, Okay, now Fred has started to come down a little bit. You're coming down here. And you continue. Okay, so the depth of your blade is okay, but your body posture now, okay, because you've already started pulling that lower hand back instead of reaching out a little bit further. Right? So now at this point, okay, what I usually like to see is your paddle when it gets fully buried, like Fred's is right here. See how it's still slightly positive, right? So if this is straight up and down, right, his paddle is still slightly positive. If I drew a line here, okay, you get kind of fully buried in the right, kind of the right angle, but you're just buried much earlier than everyone else, right? So your timing is a little bit off because you're getting into that catch a little bit too early. Okay, so let's next look at the top hand, because I think your top hand generally is going in almost at the same time, about the same height as Fred's. It's mainly just that lower hand extending forward a little bit longer. Okay, so think of that lower hand trying to get all the way up to, sorry, not up, but over here, just a bit more. Reach out a little bit longer, even as you're going into the water. Almost like a slight pause in the front, okay? So if you were to go here and just give that extra pause, extension, your timing would be a little bit more on. So as you go through your stroke, right, you get here, and I think you understand that you need to exit when Fred's exiting, because the time it takes to get from here to here, and then from here to here, you have a very slight hang here while you wait for Fred to get there, and then you start to exit. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Just mainly working on that catch timing. So I know I've talked about like making sure your top hand goes in when that person in front of you goes in. Where you're sitting, what you can do is make sure you're taking a look at Fred's lower hand and watching when it actually goes in the water. Same with his paddle. You should be able to look and see his paddle from where you're at. Okay? So try to focus on that.